This is Season 7, Episode 145 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicerelli.
Hello once again and welcome to episode 145 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Tim Cicerelli here, your host, otherwise known as Trucker Tim, and we got a good one for you today. We're going to do a lot of cap tipping, a lot of showing our appreciation for a job well done to not just our drivers, but to the folks in-house as well, too. So a very special episode for you. And on the way with one of our driver spotlights, we're going to talk to one of my favorite drivers, a guy I've had on this podcast several times. He's celebrating 10 years with Stevens Transport. And in this spotlight, he's going to talk about how he's working on becoming a bodybuilder. And he's a former MMA fighter as well, too. Great story with driver Shane Lassiter on the way. We'll also pull some audio from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel with a driver who is going to be discussing his journey, including his early days in the contractor division, moving into a training role. His personal success story highlights the importance of hard work, time management, and he'll be dropping some knowledge for some of our newer drivers. That spotlight coming up as well. And we're going to be announcing our drivers of the month and giving them the accolades they deserve. But let's kick off this episode with a story of leadership and a young man who is making waves behind the scenes. Let's meet our 2024 rising star, Tommy Freni, on our Stevens Roundtable. You know, here on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, we like to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation for a job well done. And we're talking about our million milers who we like to point out here on the podcast just about every single week. We talk about promotions, but we also like to talk about those that have made an impact in a very short period of time. Those that have come into Stevens Transport and really put their stamp on what they do and put their heart and soul into it, using their initiative, using their talents and their intelligence. And we would like to tip that cap to our friend Tommy Freni. Tommy, I know, has been on this podcast a few times, especially when Tommy, welcome to the show, by the way. I'm sitting here talking about you like you're not here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate having me on.
Always good to have you on, buddy. And I think you and I might have met the first time during a chili cook-off a few years ago. Was that right?
I was bringing you different chilies every time. Which one we were rating them.
We were rating the chilies during a driver appreciation week. And now, well, you've done some amazing things, but you also have some new hardware. As of the end of 2024. Tell us what you got to take home.
For like the Rising Star?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, I didn't know.
Kind of like Rookie of the Year in a way.
It is, and I had no idea. It came with a trophy, nice glass star trophy. Yeah. It's very, very professional. Sits on my desk now. I mean, Good. I'll take that everywhere I go now. It's
As you should.
A huge accomplishment.
Shine a light on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we say it's a huge accomplishment because a rising star means, hey, there's somebody that's rising, they're coming up to the ranks and doing an amazing job, someone we want to stick around for a long, long time. And if I'm not mistaken, also something voted upon by your peers.
Yes. Yeah. My bosses, directors, managers, I think, and it really meant a lot to me. I loved it.
It's really validating, isn't it?
It felt really good because I'm a behind the scenes type of guy. I don't like being in front of crowds. It's like my worst nightmare. So like I like helping people, but I like helping people behind closed doors or like one-on-one with everyone. And my main goal every day is how can I make everyone's job easier around me, and how can I make my boss's job easier too, and not bring them extra problems, and don't bring them problems without a solution. That's like my one objective.
Don't bring problems without a solution.
Yeah, that's
you
my
must
big
have
thing.
learned that from some people you look up to.
I
I'm sure.
do. Yeah. I've learned that throughout my life.
And there's our nod. So, Tommy, really, I mean, it's been a few years since I've met you, since maybe like 2.5 or 2-ish years or so, 2.5 years or so. And tell us what you've learned beyond what your philosophy is for work and your mission here at Stevens Transport. But what have you learned in your short time here? And the reason I ask you that is because we have a lot of people listening that are not part of Stevens Transport. They're looking for a job or a new career, not just as a driver, but here in the building on the corporate level as well, too. So can I ask your age?
I'm 28, turning 29, so almost 30.
So almost 30.
Yeah.
Enjoy your 20s. Don't bring up I'm almost 30 until you hit 30. And say I'm 28 and I'm 29 and that's for real.
Yeah.
Right? So you're 28 years old right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear you say I'm almost 30 again.
Yeah.
You be in your 20s as long as you can.
Yep, you're right.
Said from a jealous 50, almost 60-year-old. So I ask you your age because, to me, you're still real young.
Yeah.
And so what have you learned here? What are some of the lessons you've learned about the culture here at Stevens Transport and in your professional life?
There's a lot of different things. And that's like when people ask me what I do is like the one thing I describe it as like human capital management is a great term to use is you're just, instead of like you're not managing money, you're managing people in different organizations. So I've had to learn the entire company from recruiting, HR, the Paragon shop side, scheduling, time off stuff, all our policies, our 401k, our benefits, everything that runs this company. I pretty much have an idea how it works, or I'm involved in it. And so it's understanding how a business pretty much is run and how to keep it together.
He says he's 28, almost 29, I guess almost 30, but he sounds like a 40-year-old right there. That was very wise and very well put, very eloquent. So, Tommy, before we let you go, what would you say to those maybe getting out of college or maybe people in their early 20s going, gosh, I don't really know what I want to do? Why should they give Stevens Transport a chance to be their home, the place they like to call their workplace?
I think one thing is this opportunity Stevens gave me. I would never really have this opportunity. It was new to Stevens. So Workday was brand new. No one really knows about it. And people get very scared with new. And so
you said Workday. People here in the building know what that is, but what about those that are not a part of Stevens? What is Workday?
Workday, like I said, it's a human capital. It's like kind of the central brain of everything. So everything that functions in a company that most people don't realize, but managers and all higher ups know, it just keeps a company together. Organization structure, payroll, everything that runs a company goes through Workday.
This is a platform.
It's a platform. It's a cloud-based platform, pretty much.
It's a communicative tool.
Yep.
It's
training,
everything. Yeah.
Yes. Like colleges use it for all that type of stuff.
All right. So go back to it again. So through Workday is what you learned, everything you just told us right now. So how does that apply to somebody thinking about becoming a member of the Stevens team here?
I just think it's a great environment I've got to meet so many people in every department I've gotten to talk to, and I get everyone's different perspectives on how to do things, how they do it, what's the right way to do it. And then you kind of take that and then add it to your knowledge book and keep growing and stuff.
And there are plenty of opportunities here for people your age, and even younger as well.
Absolutely.
Too. So Tommy Freni, our rising star, who's only 28, and he's going to enjoy being 28 for as long as he can.
Yeah.
And again, always a pleasure to see you, buddy, and we hope to see you next time around. So congratulations on that new home.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, listen, if you're in the hallways there at Stevens Transport and you see our driver payroll coordinator, Blessy, Mathew, walking just a little bit taller, a little bit prouder, it's because we are thrilled to share the exciting news that her boy, Jeremiah Mathew, is one of 62 scholarship award recipients from the Truckload Carriers Association Scholarship Fund Program, recognizing his outstanding academic achievements, leadership, and community involvement. He was awarded $2,725 as a 4-year University TCA scholarship recipient. So Jeremiah is currently a senior at Rowlett High School, ranked 9th of 611, the class of 2025, by the way, and is already ahead of the game. He will be receiving his Associate of Science degree from Richland College on May 16th, just a week before his high school graduation ceremony. A very impressive accomplishment made possible through the GISD Collegiate Program, and this fall he will be attending the University of Texas at Dallas, where he plans to major in engineering. Now, Jeremiah's resume is nothing short of remarkable. He currently serves as the president of the Technology Student Association, is a National Honor Society member with over 100 service hours, and is actively involved in the Philadelphia Pentecostal Church of Dallas Youth Group. Wow. He also plays on his church's basketball and soccer teams and regularly volunteers at Vacation Bible School and local mission trips supporting the homeless. What an outstanding young man. Congratulations, Jeremiah and the Mathew family, on this well-deserved honor and incredible achievement. Awesome. On the way, we have a couple of driver spotlights for you, and we're going to continue to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation to our drivers of the month right here on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. Time now for our driver spotlight. We're going to pull some audio from a video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel, and we're going to share a story about a seasoned driver and trainer who shares his 13 years of experience with Stevens Transport. He has valuable insights into the trucking industry, and this driver discusses his journey, including his early days in the contractor division and then moving into a training role. His personal success story highlights the importance of hard work, time management, and making smart financial decisions to thrive in the trucking industry. This is the story of Gregory Ridenauer.
Hello, my name is Greg Ridenauer. I've been in the contractor division at Stevens Transport for over 13 years. I just finished my 5th or 6th lease completion bonus. I also am a trainer, and I am on the chain gang. I also am fixing to sign I believe it's my 7th lease for contractor division. And one of the few things that I've learned is if you work the program in the contractor division, the program will work for you. I have the freedom to choose my loads and where I was going. Also liked being my own boss. I have been a trainer for 12 and a half years. They had me listed at 105 students passed and 1,550,000 miles behind the wheel. In 2006, I owned a plumbing company. And in 2006, the businesses started to fail due to the housing markets going down. So I was already 58 years old, decided to move out of that field, started looking at different fields to get into, found this one. This field could make me the most money for my retirement, and that's what I've been working on since I started. So retirement's important to me. And that's why I moved into this field. So I have a 38-foot boat, and I love to go to the Bahamas. You can ask anyone. Anyone that knows me and talks to me a lot finds out I go to the Bahamas 3 times a year. If I don't go to the Bahamas, I go to the Florida Keys. I spend a lot of time on the boat. There's 5 things you need to know to be successful in this business. The first thing you need to know is if the wheels aren't turning, you're not making money. The second thing you need to know is deliver your loads on time. If you run, Stevens Transport will give you all the miles you can drive. Third thing you need to know, number 3, is trip planning. You need to be able to plan trips and B, to where you're on time all the time. With trip planning comes time management. The fourth thing you need to know is purchase your fuel properly. Fuel is your largest cost. If you purchase fuel right, you can save money. The fifth thing you need to know is fuel mileage. If you can get good fuel mileage, you can get more money in your pocket. If you can do those 5 things expertly, you can be profitable in this business.
That is audio from video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We'll have a link to that video in the episode notes. Love talking to our drivers here at Stevens Transport, and love talking to drivers who have been on the podcast a few times before in many different facets. And thrilled to welcome back to the podcast our friend Shane Lassiter. Shane, how long have you been driving for Stevens?
Oh, man. So this will be 10 years that I've been with them.
10 years. I mean, you know, when you've been on the podcast with us in the past, we've talked about what it's like to be a driver, the whole process here at Stevens Transport. You got 10 years under your belt now, a whole decade coming up on.
Yeah.
How about we get to know you on a more personal level and maybe a little silly level as well, too? You down for that?
Yeah, let's
well, tell us about your life outside of the cab, the truck. Do you have a family?
Yes, I do.
Tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, my wife and I, we met each other here at Stevens.
Stop it now.
Yeah.
How?
In 2015, we actually met, and we became friends, and we were friends for about a year and a half to 2 years before we ever started dating.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a solid foundation right there, buddy.
Yeah.
And she was a driver?
And she still is.
Wow. You're not team drivers.
We teamed for 4.5 years. She does Texas Regional, and I'm DFW Local.
So how amazing is that to have a partner that shares a passion with you, or even just the same career? I mean, you never run out of stuff to talk about, of course, but
you would be surprised because being I'm DFW Local and she's Texas Regional, she goes to a lot of the same places that, you know, week after week after week.
Yeah.
Me being DFW Local, I go to the same places day after day, week after week.
Right.
So we really don't have that much to talk about when it comes to, you know, the work life. But when it comes to just, you know, getting on the phone and cutting up with each other, yeah, we can do that all day.
So how do you spend time together when you're not out on the road?
Every now and then she'll get a load through Dallas, and I'll go visit her. We'll go out, get something to eat, do a little date night.
Nice.
Go home for the lengthy home times like Christmas, spring break, summer. Every now and then we'll take a few days, you know, just randomly and just go home together and just have that time together.
That must be real special, too, when that happens and you can intersect like that.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things you have in common with her outside of driving?
To be honest, when I tell you the opposites attract, it is so true.
Polarity is important in relationships. There's no question, a certain level of it. Look at us getting deep, like deep thoughts with Shane Lassiter.
My interests are UFC, NASCAR. I actually spent a little bit of time in my younger years where I was a mixed martial arts fighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't mess with Shane.
I've been in the cage a little bit.
Wow.
That was fun. Yeah.
Any serious injuries?
No serious injuries. Broke my nose twice.
Any serious injuries to the other guy?
I mean, it's MMA.
It's MMA. The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Of course.
But the cool thing about that is, you know, you go in as opponents and you come out as brothers because of the respect. I mean, you get in there and you both go to one of the deepest, darkest places together. And not just a bonding experience, but it's very mentally freeing as well.
I'll bet that is. And, you know, it's interesting with MMA or even just boxing. You see that sometimes at the end of the fight. That you act like you want to kill each other in the middle of it. But at the end, you can see that mutual respect between.
Because when it boils down to it, they're my opponent. They're not my enemy.
Right. There's a very big difference. Wow. Can we ever have a conversation without you getting deep? I don't know that we can. I'm about to bring it surface level with some right here.
and that's one thing that people don't realize about me is that, you know, when it gets down to it, I can become a very deep person.
Yeah.
But
well, I don't know you personally outside of when we intersect here on the yard, but like we seem to be able to just connect like that. And because, you know why? Because I do see in you, Shane, your ability to get vulnerable real fast without being threatened by that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how people forge friendships. And I'm happy to call you one of mine.
Appreciate it.
But now you might not feel the same way after I ask you some of these questions. So
Let's
right now, so here we are in 2025. and this will be the 45th year Stevens Transport has been in business. Right. And we'd like to commemorate that by giving you about 45-ish seconds to answer as many silly, stupid questions as possible.
Oh,
right?
boy.
So it's kind of a shotgun round,
right.
and we're going to get to know you, and we might even get to know some of your deepest fears, too. So let's let that clock start now.
All right.
When you were a child, what silly fear did you have? What were you afraid of?
Spiders.
Spiders?
Yeah.
Still afraid of spiders, maybe?
Negative.
Okay, good. That's a kid? Weren't a fan of Spider-Man?
No.
He said, no, sir.
If it had to do with spiders, I wasn't there for it.
You were out.
Yep.
Hey, aside from what you're wearing right now, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn in public? No, I'm just kidding.
That would probably be Halloween of 2018. I was the DD for one of my friends, and I dressed up as a nun.
That's not embarrassing. That's kind of cool.
And I have no shame.
Clearly. And I was joking about what you're wearing now. I kind of want that same hoodie. It's very cool.
AxonSledge.com.
Okay.
So Axon Sledge is a supplement company that I'm a part of. They sponsor me.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
All right, let's do it.
Tell me.
What do you want to know?
Pause the clock. Tell us about the company. What do they do?
Axon Sledge, they're based out of Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. They provide world-class supplements for world-class athletes.
So world-class athletes.
Absolutely.
Is that you? They sponsor you. I mean, come on.
Trying to get there.
Good deal. MMA or what?
No, bodybuilding. So I'm currently rehabbing from a hamstring injury back in November, doing deadlifts, tore my hamstring. Oh, so I'm still, getting back to that. But once I'm fully healed, I'm going to be back in the gym, and 2025 is going to be a year like no one's ever seen from me.
All right, let's you and I talk at the end of this year. We're going to hold you accountable to that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see what you do this year. All right, let's re-engage that clock and get back to the silliness now. If you were a contestant on a game show, which one would you dominate?
Who's smarter than a fifth grader? Or are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Yeah, that sixth grade education did you really well, huh?
Oh, that's North Carolina public education.
And last one, if you could have dinner with a fictional character, who would it be and why?
A fictional character, who would it be and why? I don't know. I'd probably go with Bugs Bunny.
Right?
I think that would be a very entertaining dinner.
Yeah, because he's such a smart aleck, isn't
Exactly.
it? Yes, he would be awesome. All right, that might be one of my favorite answers. Bugs Bunny, Shane Lassiter at dinner together. What would that conversation be like?
That would be chaotic.
It would be. It was an awesome time. It was chaotic and fun to have you back on the podcast. Good to see you, Shane.
Good to see you too, Tim.
Okay, one more order of business before we bounce out of here for episode 145. Time to tip that big 10-gallon cap in appreciation for a job well done to our March Drivers of the Month. Congratulations to our runner-up dedicated driver of the month, Elon Greisman Escobar. Our first place dedicated driver of the month is Douglas Barriger. How about our runner-up trainer of the month, Ademola Adeniran? Trainer of the month is Daryl Robinson Jr. Owner-operator of the month goes to Thomas Payne. And our first place team of the month, Leanne and Roderick Thompson. Our runner-up grad driver of the month goes to Maddie Scarborough. First place grad driver of the month to Jay Wells. Our runner-up independent contractor of the month is Carlos Rodriguez. And our first place independent contractor of the month is Benjamin Mahar. Congratulations to Robert Mitchell, our runner-up company driver of the month. And our first place company driver of the month is DeMontre Wyndham. Congratulations at Stevens Transport. Our commitment to delivering premier logistics and transportation solutions is driven by the dedication and professionalism of our entire team. So from our skilled back office support staff to all of our exceptional driving professionals, we take great pride in recognizing the best among them. Way to go. Well, there she is. Let's pump the brakes on episode 145 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.